Okay, you are Jose Loa.
¿Usted es José Loa?
Sí.
Yes.
Mr. Loa, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. You guys have worked out an agreement. They're offering you 3 days in jail, credit for the 2 days that you've done. You need to understand that this charge will go on your record. It will be there for the rest of your life. What we're doing today, from now on, you are facing a minimum of 30 days in jail. Do you understand?
¿Entendió eso?
Sí.
Yes.
If I were you,
Si yo fuera usted,
never get in a car, even if you've had a sip of alcohol, because the first thing an officer does is they're going to look up your record when they pull you over. If they see that you have a prior DWI and then they smell alcohol, you think it's going to go well?
for your honor, what was the question?
What do you think is going to happen if you get pulled over and you smell like alcohol and they see your prior DWI?
Y si ellos ven que tiene usted un caso de manejo de ebrio y previo, señor, ¿qué cree que le va a pasar a usted?
Van a arrestar.
They would arrest me. Correcto.
Beware. I would never do it again.
Entonces ya sépalo, nunca lo vuelva a hacer.
Right to a trial,
Renunciar.
right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization under federal law. You give up the right to appeal. Once you accept this agreement, you can never change this or undo this. Do you understand?
Eso, señor.
Sí.
Yes.
How do you plead to the offense? You're not guilty.
¿Culpable o no culpable?
Me declaro culpable.
I declare myself guilty.
I will find you guilty, sentence you to 3 days in jail, give you credit for the 2. I'm going to suspend your license for 90 days. What do you do for a living, Mr. Loa?
¿Qué se dedica usted, señor Loa?
A la construcción.
Construction.
What kind of money do you make a month?
Judge, I've asked him a series of questions as to how much money he makes and his expenses, if you may. Okay, he works construction, Your Honor, he makes approximately $4,000 a month. His rent is $1,000. His telephone for him and his wife is $200. Food is approximately $600, and this is all per month, Your Honor.
Todo por mes.
Gasoline for his wife's vehicle is $400. Utilities of water, electricity, and gas is $500. And he tries to send at least $1,000 a month to Mexico. He has mother, father, and siblings there, Judge. So his total cost are approximately $3,700. That leaves him about $300.
Spends nearly $1,000 in food.
The food was $600.
Comida es como unos $600.
What your lawyer is trying to do is asking me to take away your fines and fees and court costs. What I will do for you now is I will take away the surcharge, but you'll be required to pay the court cost. If you don't pay it, I will issue a warrant and you will do $100 for every, you will do 1 day for every $100 you owe. I am taking away $3,000 that you would normally otherwise pay. And I want you to understand, Mr. Lowe, if you come back, the next time it's around $7,000. So like I'm telling you, don't get into a car, even if you've had a sip of alcohol, because it could very well cost you dearly. Do you understand?
¿Entendió, señor?
Sí.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you, Judge.
Buena suerte, señor. Pase a la izquierda.
Just the, yeah. Good morning, Ms. Lathan. Thank you, Mom, for coming. Appreciate it. Ms. Lathan, you're charged with assault of a family member. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present if you cannot afford one. One will be appointed to you. Okay.
You should. The complainant reported being assaulted by the defendant, who is the complainant's daughter-in-law, at the defendant's residence in Harris County, Texas. The complainant stated she was at the residence with the defendant for the complainant's son's birthday. The complainant advised she engaged in a verbal altercation with the defendant about the child not saying goodbye. The defendant got into the victim's face and the defendant lunged at the complainant as if the defendant was going to strike her. The complainant stated her son and husband attempted to separate the defendant and the complainant, but the defendant was able to kick the complainant's right breast, causing a high level of pain due to recent breast cancer surgery. The complainant stated the defendant yelled, quote, "I will fuck you up," as she was pulled away. The defendant stated they had a get together for the defendant's husband. The complainant became upset during that conversation, and the complainant was slamming doors, yelling and getting in the complainant's face, but did not kick the complainant as she was 9 months pregnant. The defendant was identified with a Texas driver's license.
I make a statement, Judge. And so this case was it 6 months later that it was filed? They never spoke to any of the witness. Janitha was present at that time. Terrell, who's a bailiff upstairs, was present at that time, which is Jillian's husband. He didn't want to go through the whole IAD deal and give a statement just yet. But I did provide a witness statement from Janitha where she was there. She was 9 months pregnant at the time, Judge. She had her baby a week later. Her mother-in-law did have breast surgery, cancer surgery before on her breast, but she couldn't lift her leg up 3 inches, much less high enough to kick her in the breast. Police officer had none of the information with regards to Janitha being present. Janitha was there. There was the mother and the Terrell and the father holding the two back, I guess, from each other like this. It was split up and then that was it. 6 months later, charges were filed against Miss Layton, and that's it. Officers never spoke with anyone, didn't get the other side of the statement. Janitha did provide a witness statement. The court can ask Janitha. We're open to the court asking the questions to Ms. Kimbrough, where she didn't witness anything after it was split up. They went home, I guess, Janitha, and then that was it. There was no physical contact, anything of that nature. Nothing.
Give a response, Mike.
Judge, I haven't read the offense report thus far. I know that this is what the victim has reported. I don't know who the investigator spoke to, but I know this was a delayed report. That's why the 2B warrant was filed.
There was no documented injuries, Judge, no photographs, no nothing. They just on their own volition.
Remember, this is just a mere probable cause, right? So, and the fact that, she's pregnant is unable to, I don't know that, right? So all this is a probable cause. It doesn't mean that you're guilty, right? Just it's a mere probable cause. There's still a lot before someone can be found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. I mean, that's a lot higher standard than what we're just doing today. I am going to find that there's probable cause to go forward. What's the dynamic now? I guess it's 6 months down the road.
I mean, they all
Do
live-
they want to have contact?
They all. Do you still have contact with your mother-in-law?
So on Marilyn, is there still contact between you guys?
On and off, not too much.
Okay, so the only thing I'm going to ask is just don't have any threatening or harassing contact with this person. That's all I'm going to ask you to do at this point, okay? I'm not going to put any other conditions in your bond. Just be careful. Don't pick up any new cases. You've got a great lawyer. I will waive your appearance. You don't have to waste your time coming to court. Mr. Kamek will tell you when you have to come back to court, and that's all there is to it. Just be nice. Don't pick up any new cases, You guys have any questions?
That's it.
So for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have just Michael create the bond conditions. We'll have you sign it, and then you guys are free to go. Just do your thing. Just have fun.
Judge, did you set a bond amount?
Oh, hey, Nathaniel, is your guy here? I need to talk to him. If it's that, but I'm gonna remind him that he's under bond conditions court. He's not to drive, not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs. He's gonna be tested, right?
So we would need to pay for that.
I'll just tell him in Spanish. Bella Gomez, por favor. Do you speak Spanish? None a lick? If I say something, are you gonna be able to understand? So I'm gonna tell him, tú no puedes usar alcohol cuando tú estás en fianza en este caso ahora. No puedes tomar alcohol. Te voy a hacer exámenes. Si tú tomas o si tú manejes, puedo ponerte en la cárcel por 180 días.
Okay.
¿Me entiendes?
Sí.
Tú tienes esta oferta ahora, vas a tener que ir, ¿qué fecha?
November 8th.
Tienes que ir a la cárcel el 8 de noviembre, pero no puedes tomar, no puedes usar alcohol ahora o manejar, ¿me entiendes?
Ajá.
I'm telling him that he can't use alcohol. He's going to be randomly tested not to drive. If he does, the full range of punishment is available.
Understood, Judge.
¿Entiendes? All right. Okay. All right. Thanks. Good morning, Mr. Amesquita. So you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. You guys have worked out an agreement. They're offering you 3 days in jail, credit for the 16 days that you've already done. This case is now set for trial, or you want to plead guilty to this offense. Is this right? You have to understand that this offense will go on your record. It's going to be there for the rest of your natural born life. And whenever you get pulled over, first thing officers do is they look at your record. They look at your, you speak Spanish? They look at la pinta. You know what I mean? And if it looks like a duck and it talks like a duck, it's probably a duck. You know what I mean? If you got la pinta and then you got the record, if you smell like alcohol or dope, what do you think they're going to do? Right. I wouldn't give him the opportunity. From now on, you are now facing a minimum of 90 days in jail for anything that you pick up. Do you understand? So if you want to get lit, just don't get into a car. $20. Anywhere you want to go in the city. It's a geographical oddity. No matter where you want to go, it's always $20. You give up a lot of rights by entering into this agreement. You give up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. You give up the right to appeal. If you're not a citizen, you can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization under federal law. Once you plead guilty, you can never take this away. It's there forever. Is this what you want to do? How do you plead to the offense of driving while intoxicated? Guilty or not guilty? I will find you guilty. I will assess you 3 days in jail, give you credit for the 16 days. I'm going to suspend your license for 180 days. Do not drive until you get a license. Good luck to you. Hold on a second. What do you do for a living?
I just got a job right now at a retail.
You just got a job at a retail store.
Where are you working?
Yes, a
Good.
little bit.
I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to wipe out the fines and fees and surcharges that you would otherwise pay. This is around $3,500 that I'm taking away from you, Mr. Mesquita. But I'm going to tell you, if that you come back, it always doubles up. Next time it's $7,000. Do you get the hint? All right. Is it true or untrue that you had a 0.15 or above? All right. True to the enhancement. All right, miss. Good luck.
Judge, he has a scram device.
Take it off.
Okay.
Well, once do all the paperwork, he'll have to go to, is it 7th floor? Where's he go? You know, Vic,
Oh, please drop me.
talk to her. She'll tell you where you get it off. Okay, guys. Venancio Torres, come on up. Good morning, Mr. Torres. He speaks English, right? Do you speak English?
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Do you like a translator?
No, that's fine.
Is he gonna understand what's going on?
We talked, we understand.
Okay. Mr. Torres, you're charged with assault of a family member. You are facing a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
On October 15th, 2024, officers dispatched to a welfare check at a residence in Harris County, Texas. Officers made contact with the complainant, who was observed to have a fresh, large bump to the back of her head. The complainant was observed to be very scared to speak to law enforcement at the time of their arrival, while the defendant was in the area. The complainant insisted that she wanted to leave the house and get out. The officers made contact with the defendant, who stated that him and the complainant had been dating for about 1 month and had recently had a couple verbal arguments. The defendant stated that he was outside and heard screams coming from inside. And when he came inside, he found the complainant on the floor in the living room and that she had fell from the stepping stool that was in the living room. The defendant stated that the argument never got physical between them, and the officer contacted the witness, who called in the welfare check and stated that he received a message from the complainant of a picture of a firearm. The witness stated that the complainant began sending him audio through WhatsApp, and on the audio, you can hear the complainant say, "Jose, run. He is going over there with a firearm. Run now." The second audio that was sent from the witness, you could hear the complainant telling him, "I was able to take the firearm away from him, but he had a knife. Run." The witness stated he called the complainant and was able to hear a disturbance between the complainant and a male. The complainant tells the witness, "I don't want to die," and the witness then overhears a male yell, "If you call the police, it will get worse." And then that's when the witness he heard them arguing, and he can tell the defendant's mouth was then covered and can no longer talk. And then the complainant stated the defendant was upset that her ex-boyfriend was trying to pick her up, so the defendant placed a firearm inside his waist and said he was going to look for her ex-boyfriend, and he left the house. The complainant stated the defendant returned a short period later and continued to argue with her about leaving the house. And when the complainant was exiting the master bedroom and going towards the living room to leave, the defendant pushed her back, causing the complainant to fall to the ground and hitting her head with the floor. The complainant stated she lost consciousness after she fell, but when she woke back up, she was already laying on the bed when the defendant was there pleading that he was sorry and he didn't mean to hurt her. The complainant stated she did feel pain. And that's it, Your Honor.
So it is the pushing and falling on the floor and getting hurt that way. Okay. Mr. Torres, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to have any contact with the complaining witness in this case. Do you understand? You don't understand?
Not one time.
He said, no, he's not gonna have contact.
Okay. I'm also ordering you not to be in possession of any weapons, no guns. Do you understand? If I find that you have a weapon, if I find that you try to have contact with this person, I'm going to put you in jail and you will not get any more PR bonds. Tell me, are you a United States citizen?
Yes, sir.
You are? I'm entering in what's called a magistrate's order for emergency protection. This is a court order that identifies J.A.s Hernandez as a protected individual. You cannot commit family violence or an assault against this person. Commit an act in furtherance of an offense under section 42.072 of the Texas Penal Code, which is the stalking statute. You cannot threaten, harass, use another person to communicate a threat or harassing behavior. You cannot be in possession of a weapon or go within 200 feet of where she lives or where she works. Do you understand? If you violate this court order, the state can and will file an additional charge against you, violation of a protective order, and then it's really bad. Do you understand? If you ever have any questions, Mark can help you and guide you through this. Because you have a lawyer, I will waive your appearance so you don't have to waste your time coming to court, but you must stay in touch with Mr. Metzen. He will tell you if and when you have to come back to court. If he tells me he can't get a hold of you because you're playing games, I will issue a warrant for your arrest. So don't pick up any new cases, no contact and no weapons. That's it. Do you have any questions? Okay. As far as the bond is concerned, we need to take care of that.
Yes.
Do you have any prior criminal history that you guys see? Alex?
I can run his NCIC.
In Texas, no, Your Honor, I don't know. Outside, I doubt anything outside.
Your Honor, I don't see any other criminal history.
Okay. Mr. Torres, I'll set your bond at $500 and I will give you a PR bond today. Okay, but I will not give you another PR bond. If you pick up a new case or violate these conditions, I'm going to take that PR bond in a moment's notice. You understand? Okay, my friend. So take a seat. We'll have you sign all the documents, but don't leave until we let you go. Okay? All right. Good morning, Mr. Sanchez Vasquez. Mr. Sanchez Vasquez, you're charged with driving while intoxicated, second offense. You are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. You've worked out an agreement. They're offering you 100 days in jail. Credit for the 50 days that you've done. Is there an accident in this case, Matt?
I think
Alex?
No,
Your Honor, let me pull up the case.
I think he was just found in the driver's seat.
There's no accident, Your Honor.
Okay, great. Wonderful. I want to make a couple things clear to you that from now on, you are not my problem. This is now a second DWI. When you pick up a third DWI, now they will charge you with a felony offense. Instead of days, you are now facing years. And you'll be facing a minimum of 2 years in prison, a maximum of 10 years in prison for the rest of your life. If you were ever pulled over in a car, even the most remote smell of alcohol, you could be in prison for a very long time. What I'm trying to tell you is that if you even have a sip of alcohol, I wouldn't get into a car because you were taking a humongous risk. You give up a lot of rights by entering this agreement. You give up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses, testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you are not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization under federal law. You give up the right to appeal. Once you plead guilty, you can never change this. Now, is it true or untrue that you had a 0.15 or above?
Yes.
Is it true or untrue that you had a prior DWI with us?
Yes, sir.
Is it also true that you had an open container in the car?
Yes, sir.
True to all the enhancements. How do you plead to the offense, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
I will find you guilty, sentence you to 180 days.
100.
What did I say?
180.
Oh, sorry, 100 days in jail, 50 days credit, true to all enhancements. I'm going to suspend your license for 2 years. Is there an immigration detainer on this gentleman?
Yes, sir.
You now will be shipped off to immigration. The only other thing I'm going to tell you is that if you come back to this country, do it the right way. Ask for permission first, because if you get busted by the feds, you could be looking at serious time in federal prison. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks.